Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the One Conscious Love Network. I'm here with Mihkel today, and he's going to talk to you about what his journey has been like. So, Mihkel, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about you?
Okay, thank you, Melanie. So, as you heard, my name is Mihkel. I'm personally from Estonia, and my journey it's been up and down, and to say the least. Yet, how I have arrived where I've arrived is basically that in 2019, after graduating my school and going to after being in army, I felt that there's something more. I really wanted to enjoy the riches of life and become successful. And therefore I took myself a coach and I started to do a lot of self-development, and I started to do different business models like sales and selling products on Amazon and so on and so on. There was very a lot of different business models. And what I discovered on this journey was that no matter how hard I tried and how much I gave from myself and how many hours did I work, and even having the guidance from a mentor, I wasn't able to achieve desired results. And so I started to believe that there's something wrong with me. Eventually, I experienced that my debts only rised and rised because as I wasn't able to create any financial abundance, then I had to learn more so I would be able to fix the problem, not understanding that I was the problem. I was the one creating these situations for myself. And what I mean by that is the unconscious programs were running my life, and I was so oblivious to it for approximately until 2023, 2nd of March, which was the turning point of my life, where my willpower diminished and I got so tired of running against the stream, swimming against the stream. And I collapsed and I had a choice. Either I don't want to live anymore or something has to change, because it was for me the question of life and death. And well, if we awaken, or if the old identity, at least that's what I experienced, if my old identity uh, needed to shift, then it's basically a process of death, right? And this is what I experienced. It was very, very intense. And interestingly, I had like two sides of my close people. One of the close people said to me, you should go to work and earn money and solve your problems, which didn't resonate with me at all, because for me it equaled death. Like, I don't want to live anymore. And the other option was follow my heart's guidance, which was totally unlogical. It didn't make sense at all. It wasn't chasing the money. And as I had one side, like close people who said, it's okay to follow your heart's guidance, then I was like, okay, I'll do that. Even if nobody understands me. And I really felt I'm totally alone in this and nobody understands me. And it felt really challenging. Yet on this day, long story short, I ended up listening to a video where a woman was channeling light language. And my body had so crazy reaction that, like, spasms, and my face did like crazy movements, and I just cried myself out of nowhere. That this was like opening that there is just not this physical world, that there is so much more that we can't see with our physical or sense with our physical senses. And and this light language channel was an invitation for me to go to a retreat in Spain, Tenerife, or Tenerife. And I was in Australia at that moment, planning to stay there and live there. Obviously, life led me there, and I chose to surrender to it because there was no other choice for me. And interesting experience was that life has a way to affirm it to you as well. So on the same day when I went to have lunch with my nephew who was on this journey with me, we chose the first cafe in the whole city of Perth in WA in Western Australia. And this cafe synchronistically located exactly on Tenerife Street. So what are the chances? So we were like, okay, yes, we are on the right track, even when it's totally unlogical. So 3 weeks later, after putting ourselves out there, at the same time, I was attending a breathing, like breathwork teacher course, which was the catalyst to my awakening because a lot of suppressed emotions started to be released and so on. And a lot of unconscious pattern started to come up. And when I arrived to this retreat, eventually I discovered that well, basically what unraveled there was a childhood trauma which had affected my choices until the year age 25, plus minus one. I'm not exactly sure, it's not important. And it came from my childhood where I experienced like violence by my father, not exactly me, but my mother, and I had to watch it basically. And approximately a year later, I saw how my brother used violence on my father in a means that this is not the right way to act towards your family. And what my mind did was like, okay, if I am going to be a tough guy, and if I am going to be strong, and if I'm going to be better than anyone else, like everybody else, then it means I'm going to be successful in life. I need to be smarter than everyone. I just need to be better than anyone. And this led me to have this sense of perfectionism. This led me to go to do sales. This led me to go to chase goals which weren't actually authentic by me at all. This led me to do all kinds of crazy activities which I was totally oblivious to. And all the time I thought that this is me. And it was very hard to look at. Yet eventually, when I released that, then approximately 1.5 months later, the same lady who created this retreat at Tenerife had the guidance to create another retreat. So it was very divine thing. And so as we had this WhatsApp or Messenger group with the previous retreat members, then she shared this new event into this chat. And she created a Canva picture, like canva.com, where you can create pictures and stuff or illustrations. She created, so she basically downloads art through Canva. This is her way to express her artistic powers or whatever. And believe it or not, but when I looked at the picture, my own light language opened up, and I was just shaking on the bed for the next 45 minutes, tears coming, not understanding what the hell is happening with me. And so I knew, okay, I need to go to the next retreat. So even if I didn't have any money for it, eventually I created that money, and this retreat happened exactly on Mother's Day. So uh, and at first, I didn't know it happened on Mother's Day, and it was a 2-rate retreat. But eventually, what happened there was that exactly when the clock ticked, like 12 o'clock midnight, my heart opened, and another past trauma from my childhood, where my mother went to Ireland, and I felt an abandonment, like started to release. So it was very, very magical, and totally mind and eye-opening 2 months for me. And after these two experiences, was the moment when I started to experience like my unique power started to open up. And I had no idea that I'm going to work with people. I had zero intention to actually do that at all.
Mhm.
Yet, when I came back to Estonia after this Tenerife trip, I started to, in Australia, I learned to be a masseur. So I started to share my like massage therapist, like massage sessions on Instagram stories and Messenger stories. And then eventually, one woman who I had known all my life, we had never talked. We just had been Facebook friends. And Estonia is the city where I'm from. It's only 50,000 people, so you quite know a lot of people. And so we had been training in the same club like a decade ago or something like that, doing boxing or whatever. And so this lady sent me a big text that already third time in a row when I'm seeing your stories, this massage session stories, that something in the back of my head starts to say, breathe, breathe, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm sure you think I'm crazy and so on. But after all these experiences of what I had previous 2 months, I was like, I'm not surprised anymore.
Mhm.
So, and I was like, I felt fearful because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, what should I do? But yet I trusted that if she's experiencing something like that, then it has to happen for a reason. And we both had exactly next day after she texted me, open to meet. So she came here, and what we experienced that we didn't have to even start talking, and she started to cry and just tell me everything to a totally stranger. And I didn't really understand what's going on. Basically, she thanked me after 2 hours, and this was her initiation from totally miraculous change. Basically, it wasn't definitely easy, a lot of emotions, a lot of breakups and going to different relationships. But by now, 2 years later, she's married, she's happy, she's transformed her life. So in a way, I've discovered that I have an ability to be a catalyst for change for people without me trying to do anything. For some people, I have that kind of an effect, not for everybody. And I've experienced it more and more with several people. So, and now 6 months ago, uh, so basically, after this 2023 of 2nd of March, for 2 years, I was just doing shadow work and just diving deep and starting to trying to understand, like, basically trying to heal myself because I also believe that there's something wrong with me. But mostly, I was actually able to really do a lot of work, and get rid of addictions, which were because I believed myself to be worthless and burden to my parents, which is another unconscious constraint what came out. And at the same time, I joined this Conscious Coaches Academy coaches course, which basically was a catalyst for me to put myself out there. And long story short, here I am. I could tell this story in much longer way, but this is as short as I can tell it.
That's so beautiful. And so, how do people connect with you now? Do you do one-on-one coaching, group coaching? How does it work?
Yeah, so what I've started to do since the beginning of year, I at first I started to create short form content. Now recently, last week or a few weeks ago, I started to also create long form content. So it's also possible to hear how do I approach life and how do I see how the universe or how the world, what is the structure of the world and how I see it operates and how do we fit into this equation. But answering your question, how people can, I do work one-on-one right now only. I also create men's circles here in Estonia. So I'm also working live with people. And I just recently had an insight to start to create like freedom lives here in Estonia as well. So the idea is to bring a group of people together and And so I download some information through, and then after that, people can open up about their challenges vulnerably, and we can dive into them, and we can see where are they not free, where are they constrained by their ego, because what I've learned in the past few years, that life always presents us people and circumstances to show where we're not truly free. And not in a sense like, and what I mean by freedom is, in the past, I experienced, or I believe that freedom is when I have a lot of money and when I can do whatever I want and wherever I want. It was very want-based. And then one mentor asked me, like, okay, but let's say you have $1 million, but then evaluation comes where they close all the banks and you don't have access to your resources. Does it mean that you lose your freedom then? And then she asked that, can you see that your freedom is conditional then? And then she introduced me what freedom actually means. That freedom is the sense of feeling, a sense of being. Freedom is something what is inherent, is something which is natural, like being in peace, like being in love. Yet what happens is, when we choose this life here on earth, we come by default with certain constraints. And I personally see that our primary purpose is to break free from these constraints, uh, to experience this true freedom, true love, and unlimited possibilities, really. Because uh, as you maybe heard from my stories, that I tried to do everything what I could, but nothing really worked. And it didn't work because I operated from a limited container. And now when I stepped out of this container, I didn't even have to create more money to experience totally miraculous things like free trips, eating in like beautiful high-end restaurants. I'm living in Thailand, like totally like the laptop which I'm talking you is gifted to me and so on. So other forms of abundance started to open up in really magical ways, because I started to use up the things um, which were present. So I didn't operate in the world where I want that, and if I get that, then I will do whatever I need to do. Yet I chose to do whatever I needed to do when I had to do it, and then the shift started to happen. Now, sorry, but I forgot your question.
Oh, me too.
Well, I think then I probably hopefully answered it.
I'm sure that you did. I'm sure it's so lovely. Yeah, it's fascinating how we're all one energy and how we're all connected, and
Yeah.
connecting to the super being is so
Uh,
important and such a
Now I remember what you asked. You asked, how do I work with people? So yeah, getting back to the question. Yes, right now, I see that I have the biggest impact working one-on-one, because the
Mhm,
thing is that I've worked with several mentors. Well, we just share the information, kind of what I just shared.
mhm,
And the thing is, I recently understood that I can't control other people's breakthroughs. They get their breakthroughs when they are supposed to get the breakthroughs.
right.
And I have this. I'm human as well. I recently discovered that I have this need to control. I need other people to get these breakthroughs. Yet, just recently I experienced that I can't do it. But still, I believe that the most powerful way that I can have an impact on people is through working one-on-one, because then a really personalized information comes through me. And then I can also lead with questions. So this certain person would be able to start to see, mm, see what's holding him or her back from
Mhm.
stepping into the empowered state. Um, and And I've noticed actually from my own experience that when I've seen a mentor who I've worked with myself, who works with people, and if I see that a person has the same like constraint, that I'm able to work through it myself as well. Yet I see this is like from my perspective, it's actually a little bit challenging, and you have to be willing to sit and really slow down and do that work.
Mm,
And like when I would have had this ability to do this 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I believe that's the reason right now why I'm more drawn to work with people like one-on-one. Yes.
that's beautiful. Well, we're definitely going to put your connection below in the comments so that people can reach out to you and work with you. That's just very inspiring. One
Yeah.
question I always ask is, how do you choose conscious love every day? What does it mean to you?
hmm Um, I'll add one thing to the last thing as well, that uh, that people can book like a free discovery call with me where we can really see if we are a good fit for each other, and if I'm even able to help you. So it's not like you have to come on a paid call and then we'll discover if I'm even able to help you or not. So if you feel a pull, just book the free call and we can talk further. Now, to answer your question, how do I choose conscious love every day, right?
Hmm.
That's an interesting question. Mm, I see that the answer what wants to come true is I choose to I choose to dedicate what wants to come through my imagination, even when it's scary and uncomfortable. And I choose to take responsibility of my state of being because I now know that this is the most powerful way to create lasting changes in life and to be in greatest service to the close people around me and to loved ones, or to close people and loved ones around me, and humanity all around the world. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's lovely. Any last thoughts or anything else you'd like to share before we end the interview?
Um, Maybe just that whoever listen to it know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, even when it seems something that you objectively don't prefer. Something really powerful what I've discovered lately is, or had an epiphany on, is that everything is an amazing synchronous orchestra, even when things are very chaotic and they seem out of control. And how I've started to see that is I recently had mm, uh, a call with a woman who was doing an astrology, reading an astrology chart to me, and basically I started to see, looking on the map, that it had exactly the points or when I had the awakening, and like everything was there, and I was like, how is this possible? Like
Oh,
if that's there, then I basically had an epiphany that, okay, so if all the universe and the planets are doing their circles and whatever, they're moving exactly the way they are supposed to, and if you think how big the galaxy and the Milky Ways and everything is, then the Earth is a pretty small thing compared to that. And now, if we think that Earth has its cells who are us, then bringing the analogy that uh, uh, and if we really want to control and if we want things to be other way, then we are basically like the analogy is like our cells in our body says like, no, I'm resisting to cooperate with you. That I'm not giving you any nutrients or whatever, and I'm not playing that game, I'm stopping playing. No, they are working in harmony all the time and then doing the best to keep the body healthy, right? So, and the same thing is with us. If we choose to act on our passion and exactly do the things what we need to do when we need to do it, not insisting that we if we don't have something what we want, there's something wrong, then life really starts to open up in miraculous ways. So so I truly believe that the more we let go of control and surrender to our true being and embody this crazy uh, like crazy personality and step out of this box called normal, then then everything is going to be just awesome.
That's
So,
beautiful. I love that. Totally. Following your path the way you're meant to be. I love it.
yeah,
And just really connecting to beyond ourselves, right? Like you said, we're a speck in the universe and our destiny is unknown. It's good to let go and see what happens. Yeah,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Mihkel. It was wonderful to have you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Mihkel's links will be below in the comments, so please reach out, make a new friend and a new connection there. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Melanie.
watching.
Bye.